It's Halloween, and honestly, I need to tell you, nothing is more scary than the state of the St. Louis Blues. This team is going to be playing against one of the best teams in the NHL tomorrow, and I don't feel any confidence within this team whatsoever. But there is one thing that still gives me at least some hope going forward.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host, Haley Taylor Simon, back at it again, talking to you all things St. Louis Blues hockey. On today's episode, I'm going to be honest, it's not going to be the most positive episode, but towards the end, I will give you some glimmer of hope, I guess, in the most attemptive way possible. But today, I'm going to talk about players who disappoint me the most thus far. I know I said I'm not going to call guys individually, but I do need to talk about some disappointing things that I've been seeing. Avalanche preview, Blues Avalanche play tomorrow night. That matchup, I'm just going to put that out there right now. It is not going to be pretty. And then our prospects are the ones who give me some hope. And by some, I mean all of my hope is invested in these prospects. So they better be worth it. But I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase. It is all tricks when it comes to the St. Louis Blues because nothing has been that much of a treat besides Jordan Binnington. I am disappointed to say the most. It's crazy. So you would think that this team would have some guys that are some big point leaders so far. I mean, you look at other teams in the league, and there's guys that have gotten 6 goals so far in the season. Well, that's not the case with the St. Louis Blues because team leaders in points is Robert Thomas with 5, Braden Saad with 2, and Robert Thomas with 4 assists. You would think, hey, are the St. Louis Blues bad again? And the answer is yes. I didn't want to accept it. I really didn't. I was like, you know what? This team has to be better than they were last season. But I'm over it. I am so over it. And, I'm going to just put this out there. When there's guys like a Torrey Krug that have played the 7 games so far and he's only accumulated 0 points, it makes you wonder, what is going on with this team? But it's not just Torrey Krug, okay? I mean, I'm going to give some exceptions to some players like our boy Scotty P. He only played 2 games and he accumulated 0 points. Barzuzzo, 2 games, 0 points. Nikita Alexandrov, 2 games, no points. So when it comes to the points, I think that's the only ones with 0, okay? But then you have some guys that literally only have 1 point this season. Players that you would think, hey, these are going to be good players this season. And I know some people, they don't like doing the stats. I'm doing the stats right now because I am mad and I'm angry and I don't know how else to reiterate how frustrating this team is because their stats look like stats after the first 3 games of the season, not the first 7 games of the season. So who has only 1 point so far? I will tell you because it is quite a lot. You have Jake Neighbors, only 1 point in 7 games. Tyler Tucker, 1 point in 5 games. Nick Leddy, 1 point in 7 games. Marcos Scandella, 1 point in 7 games. Then you have Colton Parayko. 7 games, 1 point. Justin Falk, 7 games, 1 point. Captain Braden Shen, 7 games, 1 point. Okay, well, there might be better players, right? No. Yes and no. Robert Thomas, as I said, leads the team in points. Okay? With 5. Then you have Jacob Vanra, who has 3. Sonny has 3. Cairo has 3. I mean, Kevin Hayes has 2, but like that's kind of weird to me because I don't see anything of him on the ice. I am upset, okay? I am upset to say the least. They're 3-3-1. They're 7th in the Central. And then they were playing a team like the Colorado Avalanche, what I will get into in a minute. And I'll dive more into that, for instance. But one thing that I want to point out, I mentioned about statistics, right? I said, yeah, the Blues, they don't have that many points, blah, blah, blah. Let me here just tell you off the bat that the Avalanche's point leader has 12 points this season. The Blues, what do the Blues have? They literally have, drum roll please, 5. Now, I like to look at teams that could make me feel a little bit better, right? You have the San Jose Sharks, and I'm not coming at the Sharks, but I thought I was going to feel better, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to look at San Jose stats, and I'm going to feel a little bit better about the Blues. But it was the opposite for me when I was doing my research before today's episode, because guess how many points the Sharks have from their leaders, right? Okay, are you ready for it? 5. That is the same as the St. Louis Blues. 5. What do you mean? This is bad, folks. And, you know, I tend to be a little bit negative when it comes to the Blues sometimes. But, like, really, I'm like, out of all of the teams that you would think that would make the Blues look a little bit better, you know, a little bit more, you know, fathomable, if you can say the least. The Sharks, the San Jose Sharks, have the same amount. And it just cracks me up. But I look at our friends in the Central Division. One team that I think has kind of impressed a lot has been the Arizona Coyotes. And of course, Clayton Keller, St. Louis native, has 8 points as the team leader. But even the Coyotes, you have guys that have 8 points, 7 points, 6 points, and they only have 2 players on the team that have 0 points. So why am I telling you all these stats? You know, why do I care about other teams? What's going on? Why am I saying this? It's to put it into perspective that the Blues, on paper, are one of the worst teams in the NHL. And I think that sometimes giving you a reality check, hey, yeah, no, we love the Blues. Like, I love the Blue Note more than anything, and this is my team, so obviously it's frustrating. But I think sometimes putting it into perspective, okay, this is how another team is doing in our division. This is how a team that has been struggling tremendously in the NHL is doing compared to our team. And then you compare the Sharks to the Blues, and despite the fact that the Sharks haven't had any wins, which is bad, I wonder if that's like a new NHL record, honestly. But the point is that it puts into perspective that the Blues, they might be one of the worst 5 teams in the NHL so far. And that reality, it sucks. I mean, the Blues, they only have, I believe it's 7 points. I'm going to actually see, because I usually don't look at the Eastern teams, but now I'm curious about if the Blues are actually one of the worst 5 teams in the NHL, because I am pretty sure they might be one of the worst teams in the NHL. Yep, so the Atlantic Division, the lowest points is the Sabres with 8, highest is Bruins with 17. In the Metro, the Rangers have 14, and then the Penguins have 6. So, like, at least the Blues, I know they beat the Penguins, but, like, at least, like, the Blues would be, like, better than the Penguins, but so far that's it. So right now the Penguins are the lowest with 6 points. Then we're going to move to our friends in the Western Conference. Okay. The Avalanche have the most with 12, while the Blackhawks have 6. So Penguins and Blackhawks both have 6. The Blues have 7. So right now we're bottom 3. Just, this is my math. I'm not laughing. I am laughing. The Pacific cracks me up. The Golden Knights literally haven't lost the game. They have 19 points. But yet the Blues would be somewhat of a decent team in the Pacific because the Oilers have 5, the Flames have 5, the Sharks have 1 point. 1 point. So the Blues right now, on paper, because of how bad the Pacific Division is, would be a bottom 7 team. A bottom 7 team, okay? And that is because the San Jose Sharks have yet to win a game, and then the Flames and the Oilers, it's not good. But you know what is good? Me not going on a rant about this because I think I'm going to actually lose my mind. So I'm going to tell you over about my friends at FanDuel. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. So in this next segment, I will be talking to you about the Blues and the Avalanche preview. But I don't know if I'm ready for it just yet, which is why I'm going to talk to you about my friends over at BetterHelp. So, BetterHelp, honestly, is one of the coolest things I think I've ever done here. I've always wanted to let you know about BetterHelp in such a good way. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, okay? So, I know what's good for me, right? I know that going to bed early is good for me, but then I can't go to bed early. Usually it's because I'm thinking about hockey and how disappointed I have been. But sometimes it is not that easy, okay? And, we've all benefited from therapy. I think it's really important to normalize mental health and to make that a priority. Physical health, like I go to the gym every day. Mental health, we have to work on, increasing it and really making sure we're taking care of ourselves, right? So if you've been thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's online and it's designed to be flexible, suited to your schedule, and convenient. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime with no additional charge. It's important to find a therapist that you can connect to, that you can relate to. And, one thing I like about BetterHelp is that they're so understanding that if you don't match with somebody, why stay with them? It's kind of like dating in a way. That's how therapy is. So make your brain a friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNHL today to get $10 off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNHL. The Blues and the Avalanche preview. Okay, here we go. I didn't want to be the one to do this. I was like, you know what? I know it's going to happen, but I'm going to say it the best way I can. The St. Louis Blues will be playing against a cup contending team, a fast team, a good defensive team, a good offensive team, a good power play team, a good penalty kill team, a good overall team. And you know what the Blues have? Not that much going for them right now, to tell you the truth. I am so disappointed with how this team has been playing. So yes, Hale, how do you think the Blues are going to do tomorrow? Well, I can tell you this. I don't think it's going to go well. I don't think St. Louis is going to go out there and upset the Avalanche. I mean, they could. They could. Because the Avalanche have lost some games recently. But this is the thing. I still don't think the Blues are going to upset them. I mean, you compare, and it's so funny to me, but Mikko Rantanen, he literally is the points leader. He literally has like the most goals and the most assists. And then you put him against every player on the Blues, and it's like his stats outplay everybody, but it's literally just him. Yeah, so do I think that the Blues are going to upset the Avalanche? No. Now, what can the Blues come out of this game with? Is there any positives? Is there anything that you might say, oh, hey, this game, yeah, it's going to suck for St. Louis, but here's the positives and here's what could happen? Well, I can tell you this. The Blues are going to see what a good hockey team looks like. And I'm not saying that in a sarcastic way, despite how annoyed I am. I'm saying that in a way where the Blues, they can play against a team that is really good, really dominant on ice, and maybe that will light a fire underneath them. Hey, we don't look like them in any way, shape, or form. What can we do? Because it's really bad when there's only one player on a team that literally outranks all of your players in every single category. Like that's not good. And it makes me more nervous than anything, to tell you the truth, because the Blackhawks, we kind of figured, hey, they're not going to be as well as a team. I mean, they do have Bedard, but I think we went into the season knowing that they wouldn't be the best in the Central. But the Blues, I mean, they have just gone downhill. Very downhill. They went from putting up a couple of good fights, especially against Dallas. Don't forget their first game against Dallas, they went to a shootout. And Dallas is a very good team. And then they defeated the Kraken in a shootout. And then it all went downhill as soon as they lost to the Yotes 6-2. And then they redeemed themselves again with defeating the Penguins 4-2. Lost to the Jets 4-2. Defeated Calgary 3-0, and then lost to Vancouver 5-0. So there is a pattern. I did talk about this yesterday, that the Blues, for whatever reason, they seem to have really good games and then they play awful the next game. So with their pattern, you would think, oh, well, aren't they going to play good against the Avalanche? I personally just think the Avalanche are too good of a team for the Blues to play well against with how they've been performing. And it's sad because there is talent on the Blues, but this is something I've talked about. When you have so many players that have a no trade clause, there's only so much you can do. And I'm always a player's advocate, where I respect players and I respect that they earn this. This is in their contract and this is their right. And sometimes as a fan, as somebody that just wants the team to be successful, I want to know what the plan is here. Is this a team that's going to do bad so they can get kind of a good draft pick? I mean, this was not the season to do it because it was last season when you could have gotten Connor Bedard, but hey, I love Dvorsky, so I'm not going to complain on that. But it's one of those things where I want to know what Army's plan is. Is Berube going to stay? Is he going to be the coach that the Blues have past maybe Christmas? I don't know. I don't have the answers. But if this pattern continues, I don't think so. I don't think the Blues went into this season trying to be a bad team. But again, I don't think any team would come out and say, hey, we're going to be a bad team. But I don't think that's what they were striving to do, in my opinion. So it will be a little bit interesting. I want to tell you about Sleeper. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Robert Thomas, he could score 50 goals. And the Blues, they could host the Stanley Cup. I mean, it's early, but you know. And you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. And listen, I know the Blues, they haven't been having the best season, but there are still things that you can bet on. Like when it comes to assists, you can always bet on my boy Robert Thomas, because he is the assist machine. Despite it being a slow start, you can always count on him. So you honestly could win some money, and it does make it a little bit more fun to watch the game. So if you want to win a $100 bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Blues fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you will get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Current terms and conditions apply. That's Locked On NHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. The only thing giving me hope right now are the Blues' prospects. I have to tell you, this has been one of the most disappointing, enraging first months of hockey. And yeah, it sucks. I don't think the guys on the team have what it takes. But at the same time, I have to look into the positives in life. And usually that is the Blues' prospects. So I am going to talk more, I think, coming up about the Blues' prospects. I think that it is important for me to just put this out there that the St. Louis Blues, yeah, they're down bad. But then you have a guy who I love, like a Nathan Walker, who has 10 points in the 8 games that he's played with 4 goals and 6 assists. And this is why I'm saying this is all along I said that a guy like Walker could be so successful on the Blues, and I don't understand why they didn't give him a shot. I think he will be caught up sometime this season, but he is one of my favorite players to look out for. So I will be doing more breakdowns. I mean, our boy DeBlor Dvorsky, I'm going to talk about him some more. You know, Thea Lindstein. There's so many players, but I really want to focus on this. You have guys like a Matthew Pekka, right? That's played 8 games, 9 points, 2 goals, 7 assists. Our players really are good when it comes to assisting. But then you have, okay, ready for this? Because this is going to blow your mind. You have Adam Gauthier, who has 9 goals and 2 assists. Wait, Hale, a player that can get goals? Yes. So right now, these prospects are the guys that are giving me hope. They're making me feel so much better about the future of the Blues, but I just don't understand why they can't do that. I don't understand it, and it's one of those things that's very frustrating to me. It's frustrating to Blues fans. And I'm going on the Locked On Blues Twitter right now, which is at Locked On Blues. And I put out a tweet. I thought it was kind of funny, to be honest, but I don't know if many people thought it was funny. I said, do you think the Blues will bounce back against the cup-contending, very good, fast, strong, defensive Avalanche? Now, I said that very sarcastically because I'm like, oh, no, like it's not going to happen. And then somebody said, well, without Kale Macker, it's not as scary. It's still scary. And everyone's like, no, 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 no. We're getting smoked bad. No, no, no. It's just like, I put that as a joke. And then obviously it's Halloween. So I said, as Halloween, I'm going as the Blues having a winning record. No, I actually went as the girl from the Jersey Shore, hence the cheetah print. You didn't ask for any of this. But yeah, there was nothing scarier right now than how the Blues are playing. So that's why Halloween and scary things really don't come at me like that. Because you can just show me the Blues stats and I'm like, oh, jump scare. No, but seriously, this is the most pathetic start to a season. I'm annoyed. I'm not in a good mood. Tomorrow's going to suck, but I'm going to watch it anyways because that's what we do. We stay loyal. I'm still optimistic, but I'm like cautiously optimistic. I don't know. I want to know what you think. How do you feel? Talk to me. Let me know because it really cannot get any worse. I mean, you could be the San Jose Sharks, so it could be worse. Okay. Alrighty. I will talk to you tomorrow for a November 1st episode. October has been fun. Ish, kind of. Yeah. Okay. I will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, I still love the Blue Note, and I'm always going to be the biggest St. Louis Blues fan. So I have to say it. Let's go Blues.